Suedia gens. The gens Suedia was an obscure plebeian family at ancient Rome. Few members of this gens are mentioned by ancient historians, but others are known from inscriptions. Origin. The nomen Suedius belongs to a class of gentilitia formed using the suffix idius or edius, originally based on names ending in idus, but later applied to other names without regard to morphology. Most of the Suedii known from epigraphy came from Umbria or Picenum, indicating that they were likely of Umbrian or Picentine origin, although the surname Sabinus and its diminutive, Sabulus, borne by two of this gens, suggests that at least some of the family claimed Sabine descent. Praenomina. The only praenomina attested among the Suedii are Lucius, Titus, and Quintus, all of which were among the most common names throughout Roman history. Members. This list includes abbreviated praenomina. For an explanation of this practice, see filiation. Suedia, buried at Aquae Cyrensis in Mauritania Caesariensis, aged 85. Lucius Suedius Bascius, one of the municipal duumvirs at Lucus Feronii in Etruria in the first half of the 2nd century. His colleague was Gaius Masurius Capito. Titus Suedius Clemens, a centurion primipillus, and one of the commanders of Otho's expeditionary force against Vitellius in AD 69. Suedius was more concerned with his popularity than with the discipline of the soldiers under his command, who despoiled the villages of Alps Maritimi. He seems to have survived Otho, and was restored to favor under Vespasian, serving as a judex in Pompeii. In AD 79, Suedius was a praefectus castrorum serving in Egypt. Quintus Suedius ol Communis, a freedman who, along with Suedia Doris, probably his wife, dedicated a tomb at Firmum Picenum, dating from the first half of the 1st century, to their freedman, Cyrus, aged 18. Suedia Doris, a freedwoman who, together with Quintus Suedius Communis, probably her husband, dedicated a tomb at Firmum Picenum, dating from the first half of the 1st century, for their freedman, Cyrus, aged 18. Another inscription records an offering made by Doris to the gods. Suedius Isius, buried at Hedui in Gallia Lugdunensis, in a tomb dating to the early 3rd century. Lucius Suedius Jucundus, recorded in a 1st century inscription as one of the Severi Augustales at Aquileia in Venetia and Histria. Lucius Suedius Lycius, a 1st century inhabitant of Aquileia. Titus Suedius Primigenius, dedicated a 2nd or 3rd century sepulchre at Pisarum in Umbria for Sextus Felonius Justus and his son, Severus. Titus Suedius Proculus, listed among the donors to the temple of Jupiter at Pisarum, dating between the reigns of Trajan and Antoninus Pius. Lucius Suedius Sabulus, a 1st century inhabitant of Aquileia. Lucius Suedius Sabinus, one of the donors to the temple of Jupiter at Pisarum during the early 2nd century. Suedia Victorina, buried at Pisarum, in a tomb dedicated by Publius Gargilius, perhaps her husband.